All right, Spencer Martin from Clew is joining us today. Welcome.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks, Carlos.
Good to have you here. And I want to know about Clew and what's it all about.
Well, Clew is a countertop food waste recycling appliance that in 1 to 2 hours shreds, heats, and dries nearly any type of residential food waste, including chicken bones or avocado pits or coffee filters. And after that process, it creates a shelf-stable and consistent output. I actually have some of it here. So
Oh, there you go.
this has actually been in this jar since May. There's been no, fungal growth or any sort of smells or any of that. But as you can see, it reduces it down into about an 80% mass reduction. And this can be refined very easily into a true compost if you mix it with your soil. You can put it into an organic bin if you're city or you have a third-party service. Or you can gift it to your local community garden or to a friend who may have a garden because this is a valuable resource. And, food waste is not waste. It really is a commodity. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's something you can do with afterwards. That sounds great.
Yeah, exactly.
So, where are you in the cycle of this company itself? Because I know it's kind of just started, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. We are on month 14-ish, is what I'm calling it. So we started of August last year, but I am so proud of the work that we have done to get to this point. We have brought in an incredible engineering studio as well as industrial design studio that just 2 weeks ago actually completed our second prototype that gets us closer to that beta unit that we could actually ship even to you, Carlos, if you wanted
Right. Oh, I'm
to try
ready
it out
for
with
it.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked it
Yeah,
up. It seems like you're working with Box Clever. Is that right?
we are, yes. They
Yeah.
and Ronin Product Development Labs, both based out of San Francisco.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to ask about the actual product, and there it is. It's being in the
Yeah.
works, and I will definitely take one of the early prototypes for sure.
Oh, great. Love it.
So, what would you say the problem that you're solving for is in general with Clue?
Oh, yeah. So the most food waste actually comes from the household. So if there's, of course, a lot of food waste that occurs on farms, though there are a lot of great groups getting involved, such as like Imperfect Foods or Misfit Market, that is really solving that problem. On the manufacturing side, it actually is the most efficient because they have everything so streamlined and everything is so supply chain oriented that very, very little food waste occurs there. And then retail and restaurants are second place behind the consumer, though,
Wow, I
because
wouldn't have thought
yeah,
that.
yeah, we love, we always aspirationally overbuy, and I'm so guilty of it myself. I think that's probably a big reason why I started Clue too. Was I think I noticed a lot of I wasn't very conscious when I was purchasing food, and I had a lot of spoilage and I lived in New York City where we didn't have any organic services in my neighborhood to actually divert our food waste. But once I learned about the problem statement, which is that when it goes to a landfill, it creates greenhouse gases, which then heat our environment and are a significant cause of climate change. It's actually the third largest cause in the world, or it would be the third largest cause of greenhouse gas emissions behind the US and China in their totality. So
Wow.
it's a major issue. And I think too, just like I was saying, it still has value. Food waste still has value and is still a commodity. So I think it's really just changing people's habits and perceptions around food waste and trash in general.
Yeah, as you said that, I just remembered all of the stuff that's in my fridge right now that is probably gone bad. And yes, to have another output for that actual product and put it in something, get it compostable,
Yeah,
seems pretty important. So
yeah,
it is surprising that number, though. It's like first before restaurants was where I always think the waste comes from.
yeah.
So how'd you come up with the idea for the company? You said you kind of thought about it and you were like looking at your own kind of usage, but how'd you actually
Right.
get it going?
Yeah, so being in Brooklyn, in New York, we live in smaller spaces and have roommates and don't have the luxury of having an outdoor area to, have a more traditional food waste recycling method, such as like a compost pile or a worm bin, or there's a method called bokashi that is doing anaerobic digestion. So I originally had spent $40 a month on a pickup service that was coming to my apartment to get our food waste every week. But the pickup window was 2 hours on a Sunday, and I can
Oh,
tell you, I was at the beach or, at a park or what have you. And my bin kept getting stolen because also in New York City, everything is fair game if it makes it on the
Yeah.
street. So I would like lose a bucket and I was just like, oh, there's another one. But I then tried to have a worm bin in my apartment to the dismay of my roommates who were very patient with me as I went through this process. But as much as I really loved worms, and actually they are an inspiration of Clew, a group of worms, when they group together, is called a Clew of worms. So that's the collective
Oh,
noun.
there you go.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of different influences you'll see with our brands and what we do. But basically, I got this like plastic container that did not fit with the aesthetic of my apartment, or really, it didn't really have a good place. And then the worms would actually be able to crawl out anytime you put in anything that was maybe a little bit too finicky for them. So anything that was too citrusy or salty or too wet or what have you, they try to escape it, right? Like they don't want to be stuck in that, toxic environment. And I really just learned over time, like after having vacuumed up enough dead ones, unfortunately, that I needed to find a solution that was really going to fit this person that is like, I know I need to do better for the environment, but I don't have the time, energy, space, interest in, having a worm bin or a compost pile or any of these things, but maybe my municipality isn't meeting me halfway, or I still, now living in Seattle, I still don't love my process of keeping food waste in a bucket on my countertop for it to smell and get bugs and everything else. And again, going back to the resource point, you lose that resource. It goes off into a waste stream,
Yep.
and you don't actually get to use it if you do have a garden or what have you. So
That's great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've been in the same situation in Seattle as well and had that bucket and go, that doesn't smell great, but I want to save the world. So, so that's awesome. And right now, again, you're on WeFunder. It's wefunder.com/getaclew, so people can check it out. And you're still working on that and the prototype. What in general do you think you're excited about for the future of food and technology? Maybe just how it relates to Clew, or how it relates to how people can have more options when it comes to, food and technology. What do you think you're excited about most?
yeah, I'm gonna have to actually go with I love the like alternative protein space. I think it is so fascinating to get away from this reliance of grown animal meat and all of this factory farming situation. I've worked with companies like Hanson Brook Farms before, or Clara Foods, or like Memphis Meats, and I think they've even changed their names since this point. But I have loved all of this innovation around that space to allow people to still enjoy the things that they like about meats or different kind of proteins, but with the cruelty side kind of out of it, out of play in general. So I think that's actually one of my favorite things. I mean, of course, I'm excited about Clew, but there's other things to be excited about too.
Yeah. All right. Well, people can check it out. wefunder.com/getaclew. Spencer, thanks for being here on The Spoon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Good to meet you, Carlos.
Good to meet you.